Find the slope given a line or given 2 points. So let's remember that slope, which we note by the variable m, is the vertical change, up and down, over the horizontal change. Meaning, right, the formula for slope then is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the y values are on top. That's important to remember. Okay, so let's find the slope of the given line. Okay, there are 2 ways to do this. One, we can simply count, all right? So if I start, I always start at the leftmost point and say, okay, I'm going to this point. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, down is negative, so down 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went right 5. So my slope would be negative 4/5. Okay. The other way to do it would be to say, well, this point is negative 2, 3, and this point is 3, negative 1. Let me find my point, my slope through 2 points. We're going to do that in a minute. Okay, so let's find the slope given this line. Okay, so here's my point, here's a point. So starting at my leftmost point, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that puts me on that line. So up 5, which is positive. And then from there, I'm going over 1, 2, 3. So I would have the slope 5/3. Again, if you don't like the counting method, or if your graph is not reliable, you could say, well, I have negative 1, negative 3, and I have 2, 2, and you could do the points from there. All right, so now let's do it without a graph, just given 2 points. So we're going to find the slope through 6, 2, and 9, 5. So we're going to use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm a big fan of labeling things. I want to be able to see what I'm working on. Okay, so I start with y2. That's 5. I subtract y1. That's 2. Because I started with y2, I have to start with x2. So 9 minus 6. And then I simplify. 5 minus 2 is 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 3 over 3 just gives me a slope of 1. Find the slope through the points negative 3, 7 and negative 8, 12. Once again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2. Now, it really does not matter which one you use for which. Okay, we'll do this one both ways. So I'm going to take my y2 value of 12 minus 7 over negative 8 minus negative 3. Make sure that you always have a subtraction sign, and then if you have a negative, it comes along as extra. Okay, so 12 minus 7 is 5, and in the denominator, negative 8, 2 negatives is a positive, so negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5, and here my slope is negative 1. If you want to write it as negative 1 over 1 because we talk about vertical change over horizontal change, perfect. Let's do one more. Oh, shoot, I said I was going to do it both ways. So the other way on this one would be to start with 7, start with y1 minus y2, and x1 minus x2. Well, if you do that, 7 minus 12 is negative 5. And then in the denominator, again, I have 2 negatives, and negative 3 plus 8 is positive 5. Either way, you get a negative 1 over 1. Same thing. Okay, last one. x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have negative 5 minus 6, 2 minus negative 1. Negative 5 minus 6 is negative 11. 2 negatives is a positive, and my slope is negative 11/3. So I highly recommend writing down the formula as much as needed, right? Every time until it just sinks in your brain. That is crucial. But that's finding slope given a line or given 2 points. One thing I want to throw in just real quick, given the lines, notice how this like falls down. If you were standing up here, you would fall down, and that's negative. So when they slope downward, it's a negative slope. If it's going up, like you're climbing a mountain to the promised land, that's positive. So you can tell by looking if your slope is going to be a positive or if it's going to be a negative given a graph.